Time to take a look at the belt and disc sander. So we do have instructions. We have our miter guide, and it does appear to have a gauge on here, so we can loosen this guy up and rotate it around. So here's our sanding disc holder, and that has a set screw to hold that in place, and it looks like we actually came with a sanding disc. Here's our table, so we can take the miter guide and we can slide it right in that slot, and we can adjust the angle of the entire table with this. So we're going to be able to make nice complex cuts with this. We got some hardware. We got, looks like a guard with a dust collection port. That is pretty cool looking. So they actually installed the belt already for us. We got a tracking adjustment right here. So if the belt is wandering to one side or the other, we would adjust that right here. And we got our tensioner there. So that's going to be for changing out that belt. You can't see here on the bottom, this is 110 volts. That's going to be good for normal household power. That's going to use 375 watts of power. So not bad at all. And this is something I like. It actually tells us the exact size of the belt that we have on here in case we need to buy a replacement. So it's 914 by 100 millimeters and 150 millimeter for the sanding disc. It looks like they did actually include some rubber feet on here, so we don't have to have the metal resting right on the table. Also going to be good for vibration dampening and just to keep it from sliding around spot to spot. So those are just going to press into the corners. You can see how they're formed right here, so they're kind of cut out, and that is going to match up with the lip on the metal. And we can also see we got our go and stop buttons right here on the back. I also like seeing that they gave us an extra foot just in case. So it says step 1 is to attach this guard, and we're going to do that with 3 Phillips screws. It says to fit this guy on. It's going to be a little difficult to get it past here. I believe we can take off these screws if we need to pull this down, but I'm going to see if I can flex that out of the way. And while we're here, I'm going to install this sanding disc just so I can make sure we get it centered. And it appears that that is a P80, so 80 grit. You can kind of see right here there is a flat, so that is where that set screw is going to sit. It looks like I am going to have to take this off. I might be able to wiggle it by I just loosen these last 2 screws, and that'll give me a little bit of room. There you go. And there's a slot right here on the top where I can reach the set screw. And I'm just feeling for that flat. So you can see on this shaft we got this flat right here. If the set screw is on there, then it's going to have a much harder time of trying to dig around that. If we put the set screw on a round face, then it could slide on it. But that looks like that will do it. You can see right here we've got a bolt that will thread into that hole, and that will lock onto this shaft. So again, we're going to line up that flat with that bolt, and we will lock that down. Put a washer on here. I don't think you really needed that. I don't really see the point of that. And then the bottom of this table has a hole right here that's going to go on the other side of this shaft, and we got those 2 set screws to lock it down. And then we'll tighten everything down. So you want to make sure that you're not pushing this too close to that sanding disc, so whenever you spin this guy, it is not making contact. It looks like this set screw attaches to this shaft, this set screw attaches to this shaft, and then we have 2 more set screws above it. So if we want to, we can leave those loose so that we can take this table and we can slide it up and down, or we could lock that down, and then we could lock these 2 down to make it more of a permanent 90 degree, or whatever angle that we want. And then for our miter, we could slide that in from this side, or from this side. Doesn't really matter. It's going to depend mostly on the type of work that you're doing. And the last thing is our stop rail. So these pegs are going to sit underneath, and then we're going to screw that plastic guard into the stop. And make sure that everything still moves smooth. I don't want to be making any contact. That is good. We got a couple other neat features. So we got this hole right here. So if we wanted to, instead of putting the rod here on the bottom, we could actually take this whole table and run the rod through here, and we could use it in the back. So we would have to take this off, and then we would have a flat table right here on the belt sander. So very cool to have options. We also have, there is a bolt right here. So it's a carriage bolt on this side and then a nut on this side. We got another one right down here in the back. If we loosen those up, we take the whole thing and flip it up. So if we want to have a nice tall belt sander, especially if we have that table back here, we have that option. But I'm going to put that back down just because I always use my belt sanders in this orientation. That really just depends on the type of work you're doing. Okay, so let's just give it a quick test. Alright, so it looks like it is starting to lean over towards this side. I'm just going to tighten this knob a little bit, increase the tension on there. I can loosen the belt, realign it, and we'll see where it runs now. Okay, so it is running straight. It did lean over to the right a little bit, so I'm going to tighten this up just a little more. We don't want it to go so far that it starts pushing toward the other side. There we go. One thing I can definitely say I like about it right now is how quiet it is. I've dealt with belt sanders that just like make my ears bleed. So this is a very nice sounding belt sander. Now, there is a dust extraction port right here in the bottom, so the correct thing to do would be to put your vacuum on there. I'm not going to do that just for this test, so I got this box that'll help to collect the dust, but again, the right thing to do here is put a vacuum on there and that will pick up a lot of the dust. So here I got a piece of wood. This is very, very rough. This basically looks like it came off of a pallet, but I'm going to see if I can clean that up a little bit. Look at that. Almost no time at all. There's still a little bit right here on the back. That is beautiful, silky smooth. Nothing beats a belt sander for doing work like this. So let's put a little bit of a radius right here on that corner. There we go. Nice rounded off. I think I could have probably done a better job than that, but that is what we got the other side for. It might be kind of hard to tell, but it does look to me like it is a little bit lopsided, and that just because I was trying to hold it straight, just doing it by hand. So if I was to do this corner and have it flat on that table, I could work it around like that. I'm going to know that this side is going to be the exact same as that side. Oh yeah, and that makes quick work of that. Now I don't know if these belts are rated for metal. Let's see if we can cut metal with it. Most of the time, if you're going to try to cut metal with this, you're going to want to use aluminum oxide belt. Don't know that that's what this is, but let's go ahead and see if it'll cut. So that did manage to cut down some metal. Doesn't appear to have done any damage to the belt, so that might just work like that. Again, I don't know exactly what this belt is. In the event that I did wear that down and I want to do metal work, I would just replace that with a 4-inch by 36-inch aluminum oxide belt. But as it is, this is a pretty sweet belt sander. Lots of options on there. Really, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. So overall, I am very happy with that.